Yeah. Well, I've really been looking forward to talking with you. And your resource is a little bit different than some of the, well, than most of the other people that I've talked to so far in this series. Most of them have run grief programs and camps and centers in various locations. Yours is not location specific, although tell us where are you located?
So we're virtual. It's griefstories.org. All our resources are online. They're available free 24/7.
Yeah. Okay. But you yourself are in Canada, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yes. In snowy Canada right now. Yes.
Aha. Yes. Well, it would be nice if we had a little snow here. We have, well, I don't know what we have today. I haven't been outside yet. But not snow, I can tell you that. Uh, all right, so terrific. So griefstories.org. So can you tell us how did you get the idea to start this?
Well, I'm a filmmaker, and a
Ah,
good friend of mine, also a filmmaker, lost his wife to breast cancer, very aggressive triple negative breast cancer. And I would check in with him, and he would tell me he was doing all the right things. He'd go to group therapy, individual therapy, great support from family and friends, but he'd wake up pretty well every night around 3 a.m.
mm,
And be a mess. And he'd go online searching for something that would make sense to help him understand what he was going through. And what he told me was that he found gobs and gobs of text. And
ah,
at 3 o'clock in the morning, the last thing that he felt like doing was reading, at
aha.
least even more than a paragraph. So I said, we're filmmakers. How about we make a couple of films for people like you at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Mm.
Um, so 3 films became 20, became 100, and I think we now have about 350 films
Wow,
on our
350
website.
films. Wow, that's
Yeah,
terrific.
yeah.
And how long ago did you start doing this?
So about 4 years ago,
Mm,
and we're a volunteer organization. So we are kind of the maybe a good way of explaining it is that it's in our DNA we believe in a blend between being filmmakers and working with healthcare professionals, so bereavement specialists. So all of our content is vetted by a healthcare pillar. And the content itself is also a mix between lived experience people, people who have lost, or people who are supporting people who have lost, as well as professionals. And they tell their stories. Stories are big for us. And insights, little bits and pieces of insights, all with the idea of hope and positive. That's kind of where we're at.
terrific. So, okay, so films. So, well, I guess first of all, how long are your films typically, or is there a range of lengths?
Really good question. Thank you. They're all short, so they're all
Okay.
very consumable. I think the longest might be 5 minutes. They probably average maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So it's as if they're answering one question. We have everyone look into the camera the way I'm looking right now. So it's like a conversation.
Yeah.
So people can go online and sort of listen to that side of the conversation with someone looking at them.
Uh-huh.
All of the content is tagged, so it's very searchable. If you've lost a child to suicide, or maybe you've lost a parent or a sibling, um, you can search by keywords and find content that way. So we try to make it so that it's really easy to get stuff that's relevant,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm sure you say, and I'm sure many people say, how grief is universal, but it's so individual.
Mm.
So for people to get relevant information is critical, I think.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, well, can you give us, I guess, maybe some more examples of the types of categories or types of stories or types of loss or what kinds of things can people expect to find?
So okay, I'm just looking here. So um, we have death during service. That would be someone who's lost someone who is in the service, for instance, in Afghanistan. So we have a mother talking about her son. We have death of a child, death of a grandparent, of a partner, a sibling. We also have trauma videos, people that have been through trauma,
Mm.
living with dying, people that are dying, people who have are supporting someone who's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a real range. I guess the other thing to mention too is that we also put up podcasts, and we have blogs
Mm.
as well. So you can kind of mix it up in terms of how you may want to access the content.
Mm-hmm.
We've just started something called Exploring Healing Through Music. So we have musicians talking about writing songs, people who have written songs or joined
Mm.
choirs. There's some great stuff going on out
Hmm.
there. Music is such a powerful way to emotions and can be incredibly healing.
Mm.
Or journaling, writing to heal. So we have something on the site for that. It's a big project, tons to do.
Sounds like it, with hundreds of videos already, and probably, I don't know, it sounds like you could do thousands more and probably still have lots to talk about.
Well, as you and I were just talking before the start of the show, it feels like every time you open a door, there's more that needs to be shared and
Yeah.
told, and the more people that are talking and getting help, the better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and so you mentioned it's a mix then of people talking about their stories and professionals sharing information or perspectives, or what can you talk a little bit about, like what types of professionals and what are they talking about?
Yeah. So, for instance, what do you say to somebody who has just lost? So, there's a few videos on there with people giving their thoughts. One of them is about holding space, being there with somebody. Show up. Put your commitment to be with someone in the calendar. Don't just say it. And when you're there, be a great listener. You know, that 80-20 rule, the listening 80 and talking 20. So tips like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of professionals giving those kind of tips as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the pandemic, there's professionals talking about, I'm not sure what it's like for where you are, but where we are, the whole process of not only dying, but the funerals and whatnot. It's really, really tough. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
very restricted. So some professionals talking about how maybe you can deal with that, or some ideas to go through the process
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Terrific.
I'm just rattling through them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is great. And just to be clear, the videos and the topics and everything. These are aimed at adults. This is not children's grief. Your audience is adults who might be helped by listening to the stories and the resources and things.
Right. So there are conversations and stories and insights about kids,
Mm.
but it's through parents or through people who are supporting people.
Mm.
We don't have any kids, and we're not aiming at kids
Sure.
on the site. Yeah.
Sure. No, that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure people understood that. And let's see. You mentioned a podcast. So is that then like available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the regular podcast platforms?
About to be. It's going to be up right now. You have to get to it through our site.
Okay.
So there's a whole section on our site for podcasts. But we're about to go up and be on Apple, be on Spotify. And it has, we have our host. Her name is Maureen Pollard, and she's amazing. She has mainly been, we're about 20 minutes long, our podcast, mainly talking to lived experience people. But she's just about to start a whole new flight of podcasts that will be her discussing with other bereavement specialists, trying to dispel myths about grief, like time, like, getting over it, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Terrific. Okay.
So we should take a couple of tips from you. With what you're doing is so great, reaching out there, but maybe follow and
Oh,
get
thank you.
some. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be
It's a
happy
good
to
thing you
chat anytime about that. No problem. Yeah, okay, good. Well, we'll look for that for sure. What else haven't we talked about that people should know about griefstories.org?
You know what? I think that's a pretty good overview. It's really about letting people know that we're there, virtually available anytime that they want to. So check out the site and wander around it. And we're looking for suggestions all the time how to make it better. So feel free to get in touch with us too.
Yeah, terrific. Okay, and the website again is griefstories.org, accessible from everywhere.
Yep.
So terrific. Okay, well, Rob, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.